Attention. Class is now in session. Education. Information. Informative to oneself. History. Past. Present.
Can't stop, ma. You ain't got time. Erase my mind, but still I shine, and it gets to me. But thinking about our history, they took away our books. Now everything seems like a mystery. We went from having gold to being sold. Now we fighting for the right to save our souls. Just remember, we still mad ill. They kill Emmett Till. If we all stand together, we create Black Shield.
Education of 146,000 days, 400 years, mysterious tears, scars bound to stay. Culture stolen, reprimanded, names stolen away. Revolutionist movement came because this was bound to change. Chains, shackled, obtained, pronounced slaves. Separation of families and crucified in the rain. Brainwashed to believe there was no hope to attain. Then we staged the war and the victory we have claimed. Black education, artillery, know your history. Because an ignorant soul is only a mystery. One hand, one soul, one stand, one goal. United as one army and divided if we fold. Black shields, new mission. Black shields, one vision. Black shields, reliving. Black shields, the times we living in. Because it was MLK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and the rest of all paved the way. Digest, materialized education of our emancipation. Proclamation of our freedom in the sacred pages. Inform yourself of the movement and its many stages. Don't take this biased respect to all different races. Just educate self of all the many different phases. Black shields, black love must improve our situation.
Can't stop, ma. You ain't got time. Erase my mind, but still I shine, and it gets to me. Thinking about our history, they took away our books. Now everything seems like a mystery. We went from having gold to being sold. Now we fighting for the right to save our souls. Just remember, we still mad ill. They kill Emmett Till. If we all stand together, we create Black Shield. Can't stop, ma. You ain't got time. Erase my mind, but still I shine, and it gets to me. Thinking about our history, they took away our books. Now everything seems like a mystery. We went from having gold to being sold. Now we fighting for the right to save our souls. Just remember, we still mad ill. They kill Emmett Till. If we all stand together, we create Black Shield. Cotton fields to the bill, saints in New Orleans. I'm here to tell you about a legacy that has been stolen. Actually, this is a message. If they laugh at me, I spit something that shake their ass about the apathy. My elders told me age 7, get your education. You gotta take it, son. They ain't gonna give you reparations. I did that college shit and now I'm spitting knowledge on another continent. I'm blasting off like I'm a rocket ship. Fred Hampton, Huey P. Remember Stephen Biko, Patrice Lamoma, and Kwame Nkrumah for the people. Nat Turner, David Hill, and Bobby Seale. I bet Malcolm X and Martin, they dreamed of Emmett Till. Revolution of self, elevate the mind state. Boost up the reading score, down with the crime rate. Clown with the nouns great, profound and it sound great. Marching all in unison until we make the ground shake. One love, one stance, one God, one aim. Reverse mental conditioning until we all become sane. Whenever you say something real, they always coming after you like Dracula. Still say unify the diaspora. Senegal to Detroit, Eskimos and the Haitians. Compton to Berlin, Hawaii to the Bayesians, to Europeans and Asians, patient, staging a worldwide city, and listen, Black Shield, new mission, can't stop, man.
Hey, top of the top. Happy MACM Thursday to y'all, man. I've been wanting to do this show, been wanting to pop this one for a while now. You know what I mean? So let me go ahead and change this real fast so we can see what's going on up there to that one. All right. First of all, let's go ahead and kick off this quick little disclaimer, because I want us to jump into this and I want us to have all the time that we need to go over our timeline. All right. So you tapped into the top of the top with King Phillip, under the Make a Culture Move podcast, where we talk about the issues within our community that we're not supposed to talk about. And the minute we start talking about them, those in our own community feel attacked instead of looking at it like this is a way I could improve my situation. And they come with fists out, guns blazing. Ooh, with the I can't wait to give Phillip a piece of my mind type of attitude. Phillip ain't going to have a care what you have on your mind. All right. Just take what we're saying and do something about it. You know what I mean? Just don't do something to me. Do something internally about it so that it'll change the external. That's all we're doing. That's all we're saying. I'm also saying too, I didn't have to go out and do a whole lot of research to back up what I'm saying. I have a lived experience that gives me the credibility to talk about what I'm talking about. So, yeah, you know what I mean? So, I know I'm missing something within this disclaimer, but yeah, just process this shit. You know what I mean? Because today we just gonna do the MACM origin. All right. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our website, makeachessmove.org. Go ahead and all things social at MACM 303. You can't miss us. All right. Facebook /MACM 303. Twitter /MACM 303. Instagram thing /MACM 303. We got that Pinterest thing booming /MACM 303. Our YouTube channel is also booming /C /MACM 303. And if you have a business, shoot us your IG so we can go ahead and get them things up on there. You know, 10 bit. All right. Shout out to the East End Visions _ apparel. You know what I mean? Get you some East first, ACO first, Bell, whatever you want to rep first, but it's all in the spirit of unity. We can't do something unless we do something together. I heard somebody say, what's more powerful? What's more powerful? 5 or 1? People will be like, 5. 1. Imagine what happens when the 5 come together. All right. We can only do something more stronger when we come together. All right. Saying all that to say, behind that East End Visions thing, you and Timbit. Stop at Gems for Queens, get you bedazzled on out. All right. Yep, I got it right here. Go ahead and holler at my man B with the in-game associations. You know what I mean? Big things with the chess, with the cryptocurrency, that world. All right. And a homegirl, Body Love by Tal. You know, I stay with me some, homie. All right. You know, I stay with me some. You know, go ahead and get on this real fast. Just so y'all can see how serious it be. And I do got my tea. All right. So let's go ahead and jump into this MACM origin. You know, like I said, I've been wanting to jump into this MACM origin story for a while now. All right, but something would always come up that would keep me from jumping into the story and talking about how we got to where we are right now. Because we're getting ready to step into 2022 within the next 2 weeks. You know, Timbit? And that's Godzilla. So let's go ahead and look at it. All right. That's where, you know, it began. It began before 2010. But we ain't going to jump too far into that part right there. All right. I'm going to just say it began before 2010. But in 2010 is when I was released from prison. All right. In 2010 is when I was released from prison. So when I was in prison too, just to let y'all know, chess, this chess thing, I had learned how to play chess when I was in the 7th grade. But my motivation to get better was only because my older brother knew how to play before me. So the only reason why I wanted to know how to play was in a competitive spirit. All right. But we didn't get to sit down and play. We didn't get to sit down and play until like 2010. This is it right here, because he had got released and I had got released around the same time. So that was the first step right there. You know, and the cool part is, again, this didn't just start in 2010. The work that I've been doing in the community started in 1998 when I was a freshman at Manual High School. All right, that's when it all started, to be honest with you. That's when my community venture, you know, took roots. You know what I mean? So when I tell y'all, when I asked y'all what is more powerful, 5 or 1, this is when my community ventures took root. All right, this is when I discovered the love for the community that I had. This is when I discovered the fun that I can have for working in and with the community. You know what I mean? This is when I discovered, like, hey, we can get paid to have fun. Whoa, you know what I mean? It was crazy to realize that. You know, so I'm gonna just go through this timeline again. You know, it started before 2010. All right, but we still jumping, we still moving and grooving. When I had got out of prison, you know, my thing is in the paperwork, you know, they were saying they made me out as this demon. you know, they made me out as this villain, you know, and I'm not capping at all when I say this. I'm trying to get this going on my live on my Insta. You know what I mean? So bear with me right fast while I get this going too. I should have been did this intimate. Yeah, I should have been did this too. All right, but we still gonna go ahead and run it. Yeah, we still gonna run it. All right. Yeah, so you know, long I ain't gonna say long story short because I'm telling y'all the story. All right. I ain't gonna say long story short because I'm telling y'all the story. But like I was saying, when I had got released from prison, you know, they painted me as this monster. They said I was selling dope to the kids that I was working with, you know, all this in the community. All right. So I did not want to get back into community work just because of that image, that stigma that they put on me in the paperwork. You know what I mean? So I tried to get me a regular job. All right. So I was out there applying, you know, suit and ties. You know what I mean? I'm gonna draw a tie just so y'all can see. You know what I mean? And that's an upside down tie because y'all know I don't really care about no ties. All right, but I was out there in slacks and ties, out there applying. I mean, I'm gonna say probably the first week I had got out of prison. Mind you, I was in a halfway house, but still, you were still confined. You were still in prison. You can't do and move how you want to move. So I'm making it a mission that I didn't want to be in the halfway house. So I'm out there in the world with my slacks, my suit and ties on, and I'm applying at every job. So I would say the first week that I had got out, I probably applied for the first week, mind you, because we had to keep track. We had to keep track of every place that we stopped by, every application that we filled in. We had to keep track and bring those copies back to us at the halfway house because they wanted to see what, where, who we was applying to and all this other stuff. So I know exactly how many jobs that I was applying for. You know what I mean? So again, the first week, you know what I mean? I had applied for 75 jobs that I applied for. All right. No capping. No capping. The first week I had applied for 75 jobs. That was at least 15 applications a day. And that's what it was. And I was getting no phone call backs. You know, they wasn't calling me back. They wasn't saying, oh, we see that you got some college experience under your belt. Oh, we see that you graduated from high school. Oh, we see that you had got the Daniels Fund Scholarship. They said, oh, we see that felony. That fucking F made it absolutely impossible. I'm not going to say absolutely impossible. All right. But that F made it hard for me to go out there and get a job, you know, to work a regular job because of the stigma, the language that they put on me, you know, in terms of me selling dope to the kids and stuff like that. So that's why I did want to go back into working with the community. All right. But I had a few people who was, you know what I mean, who was always tapped in with me when I had got out, like asking me, you got a job yet? What's going on? Like, I worked with them before. I worked with them at Youth Biz before. So they know what I'm capable of in the community. They know how I can move. You know, bit. So it came down to I couldn't get no regular job. It didn't dawn on me that I had a felony until like it just didn't dawn on me. Like I wasn't getting it. The shit didn't register. Like, damn, I got some college. I'm a good worker. It ain't like I'm out here on some bullshit. You know what I mean? So, you know, it just wasn't registering. It was the felony that was keeping them from calling me. All right. So they saw that. All right. And they're like, well, if nobody else wants to hire you, come on, we'll hire you. You know what I mean? That was their whole language. That was the whole language behind it. All right. So in 2010. So I was released February 22nd, 2010. I started working at Youth Biz March 2010. All right, I started working Youth Biz in March 2010. All right, and Youth Biz, that was the same job that I had when I was still a youth. You know what I mean? When I was still a student at Manual High School. You know, that was the job that I held all throughout high school years, period, was Youth Biz. You know, they came through in the clutch for me at a whole, you know, across the board, period. All right. So, you know, I was getting paid $14 an hour at Youth Biz, and I was a full-time employee. What they say? Hold on, I know this language right here, sure. Full-time employee. All right, I know this language. All right, I was a full-time employee at Youth Biz. I also started at Project Voice, April 2010. I was making $14 an hour. And I was also here full time. Y'all like, how the hell was you working 2 full-time jobs? How in blue blazes was you working full-time jobs? Mind you, I was just released from prison. Where I was making $5.25 every month. And I was an electrician in prison. Yeah, it ain't like I knew the fuck what electrician do or electrician duties, but that was the job that they gave me when I was locked up. You know what I mean? I was in that bitch holding ladders. You know what I mean? I was in there putting in some light bulbs, that type of shit. You know what I mean? But for full time, 80 hour every 2 weeks, that's what I was getting paid. All right. So when y'all ask yourselves, how can he work 2 full-time jobs? It's crazy. All right. We're gonna get to it. All right. So do the math. That was $28 an hour. But my time was Youth Biz. My time belonged to Youth Biz, and my time belonged to Project Voice. That's where my time went to. That's who my time belonged to. You know, my time belonged to the community. All right. I'm building the relationships. Mind you, I got my chess background. So I'm building the relationships with the students. I'm building the relationships with the community. I'm building the relationships with the schools. I'm building the relationships with the recreation centers. I'm building the relationships with the library. That's who I'm looking at in terms of my clientele. Mind you, I had got locked up on a federal indictment with my older cousin and 70 other co-defendants. Long story short, my older cousin, he was doing a lot. You know what I mean? I saw how he was moving. All right. So I learned how he moved. So looking at how he moved in the streets and when he was doing what he was doing, again, I learned how he was moving in the streets, how he was moving with his product. You know, so my thing is, in 2010, when I'm working with Project Voice, while I'm working with Youth Biz, I'm also throwing out and passing out freebies. You know, they say your customers won't trust you if you don't give them a couple of freebies just so they can taste your product. You want to make sure you got a good product before you put it out. And my thing is, I had looked up, I've done my research. So this is my research period. This was my research period. All right. Uh-oh. That was my research period. That was time for me to look up chess, look up the data behind chess, why it's important, that kind of thing. Just so that when I go out there, I can say, okay, they got data that proves that just knowing how to play chess helps students improve their grades and behavior in and out of school. So I'm learning all this from Youth Biz and Project Voice, the importance of data and reporting your data and just showing other ways that what you're doing is working besides talking. All right. So I'm learning all this with these two organizations that that was also doing community work. So I'm passing out the freebies in the form of chess lessons. Man, what's up? I got my chess board. We get our chess lesson. We get our Project Voice lesson in. I teach my Youth Biz lesson, and they're all combined. That was the beauty of it. Y'all, like, how can you be working 2 full-time jobs? How? My thing is, I've always believed in working smarter and not harder. I've never been the smartest one in the classroom, but I've always been very resourceful. I've never been good at the Pythagorean theorem, but I can figure a problem out. I can figure some shit out. You know what I mean? I've never been good at breaking down some algebra problems, but I can tell you I can look at my budget. I can check that out. I can know what that's saying. I can look at my QuickBooks. I can know what that's saying. I'm resourceful. So that's how I was able to work 2 full-time jobs. All right. I'm going to just say that much. All right. So with me passing out the freebies, I'm starting to see what I got here is something. All right. Especially with the lessons that we teaching, so also during this time, this is when I had connected with my mainest man. You know what I mean? The youngest Sir Martin. Intimate. He was a junior at Manual, and that's who I had targeted. That's who was, the first on my list when it came to engaging, because I saw how we had connected when we had first connected. All right. So we playing chess. We conversing over the board on, man, this is crazy how I'm seeing this on the chessboard, and I'm also seeing this in my real life right now. Man, this is crazy how it's a reflection. We are seeing this. So it's 2011 now. Dang, I'm running out of space, but I'm gonna come back this way. All right, I'm gonna come back this way. So we're in 2011 now. All right. We had started chess. All right. No paperwork, no documentation, no nothing. We're gonna say 2011, 2012. That's when we had started chess. And chess meant challenging how every student strategizes. And the thing is with this, we went back and forth with how we wanted to title it, because so the idea came from Sir. He had a business plan that he had used for one of his classes on chess, on our gameplay, what we've been doing and stuff like that, but just the gameplay. I saw the business plan. I'm like, man, this shit is going right in hand with everything that I'm been doing. So we put it together, challenging how every student strategizes. All right. And my thing is, I'm so east side. Let me turn this heat down. Y'all know I'm so east side. You know what I mean? I wanted to call it challenging how east siders strategize and keep it on the east side. Psst, nigga, I think I was on to something. But my youngin told me I had to think bigger. We had to think bigger. You know what I mean? So that's when we came up with challenging how every student strategizes. And that's exactly what we was doing. We were challenging, irrational thinking. And that was our big thing. We would always challenge irrational thinking. We would challenge the fuck out of it because we saw how it was consuming our community, how it was going unchecked, how it was just shutting people the fuck up. They would see it and they wouldn't say shit. Again, when I'm saying it, I'm talking about irrational thinking. All right. People would see it and shut the fuck up. They wouldn't say anything when it came to irrational thinking. And that was the sad part. So, with us seeing it, we decided to do something about it. And us talking about it is not going to fix it. All right. And when I'm saying it, I'm talking about irrational thinking. Us talking about irrational thinking, us talking about it won't fix irrational thinking. Won't fix it. All right. So we decided to do something about it. You intended coming back. Mind you, I watched my cousin's business practices. I watched how he moved. Very smart, very brilliant. Very brilliant. He just had ways of doing it, you know what I mean, that he couldn't bring it to a positive legal realm. But he's very brilliant. I'm learning his strategies. I'm seeing how he's moving. All right. And I'm seeing in the early phases of when he was moving and hustling and how he was moving. His grit was sharp. I mean, his grit was so sharp. You know what I mean? So right now I'm thinking about, okay, with our data, with chess, again, right now, it's almost 30 years worth of data that proves that just knowing how to play chess, just knowing how the pieces move, just knowing the rules, knowing how to checkmate, that realm, just knowing how to play chess helps students improve their grades and behavior in and out of school. And that's a combination of the chess in the schools program that they have running in public schools in New York and with the American Chess Federation that the First Move chess program is a part of on the West Coast. So again, looking at the data that I've done, my cousin's work speaks for itself. Intimate, it speaks for itself. I ain't gonna go too much into it, but my data was speaking for itself. But it was just chess. All right, it was just chess. It wasn't on us what we were doing. It wasn't on challenging how every student strategizes. So that was the mix right there. So then what we had to do was we needed our own data. I'm giving y'all the tools, everything that you will need if you want to start an organization. But this is where the passion, all this was the passion right here. Me not giving a fuck if I got paid for it or not. This is the passion being built even before this, like I had said. I'm giving y'all the tools, the whatever you want to call it, the cheat sheet to if you want to run and manage your own nonprofit, just basically on my path. And again, the first 2 years, I'm only saying 2010 just for number 6, but mind you, I learned how to play chess when I was in the 7th grade. Oh man, so that was 1996. I was 96. So I'm just saying 1996, just for number sakes, to keep it simple, because that's when the passion truly started. That's when the passion really grew. All right. And mind you, I got, at this time too, I've been working in the community again, getting my credibility up since I was 14 as a participant, working with youth, working with, and again, I have strong feelings about those who used to gangbang or those who used to destroy the community working in the community now. All right. Because as a youth, they had these same niggas in the community trying to do good, trying to do better, saying shit, not following through with us. And I was a youth at this time. I'm learning at this time, though. Like, this is not what I'm going to do. I could tell you that much. I know that's not what I'm going to do, period. And they dropping the ball left and right and don't even seem to care whether or not they're telling the youth one thing and not following through with what they're saying. That's my key thing. That's my big thing, because that does something to us. All right. Speaking firsthand. So coming back, I got my data, the chess data. We just doing chess lessons. We started out at Manual High School, doing the classes for free. I was doing 2 classes. Boom. For the free ski. All right, this is me showing up every day. Got a back-to-back classes. Me planning for these classes every day. Me setting up for these classes every day. Me debriefing and coming up with the next plan for the next class, so it's rolling and it's smooth and I'm addressing any issues that come to. All of this is happening in the class. Me putting in some time. All right, me putting in time. On top of my work that I was doing with PV and Project Voice. All right, on top of that, I did my thing at Manual. They wanted me to come back. They said, okay, what we can do is we're going to pay you this time. I also started at Heart and Hands. And at Cole. So now we're going to phase into 2013. All right. Now we're going to phase into 2013. Again, I'm going to come back here. I'm going to delete all this, you know what I mean? And just follow suit. All right. Now we back in 2013. We was doing our thing, you know what I mean? And our motto was we would go in with a co-facilitator's model. I would go into class and my man Sir was in the class with me. At this time, he was graduated. Let me see. Yep, he's graduated by this time. You know what I mean? He had graduated in 2011 or 12. He had graduated in 2012. So we're in the classes together, co-facilitating, doing our thing. All right. I remember it was it's crazy, shit like this, you remember shit and it's always, like, man, I can remember this like the back of my hand. I remember like it happened yesterday. I remember like shit. You know what I mean? But before I go into that, it was crazy because our model was the co-facilitator's model because, again, I come into the schools and I wasn't trained on, classroom management, class planning, none of that school shit. I wasn't trained on none of that. I wasn't trained on how to handle disruptive students while doing a lesson. You know what I mean? That type of shit. And I wasn't, you know what I mean, a teacher. And I let them know, like, nigga, you ain't gonna be in here disrespecting me. You know, we can go. I'm in their face like, nigga, we can go. What's up? All right. So it was one time I'm in one of the students' face because this little dude, man, mad disrespectful. I'm saying all that to say that. Mad disrespectful. All right. So I'm in his face. Boom. My man, sir, he put his hand on my shoulder. He said, hey, bro, I got this. Go ahead and take a walk. I went on ahead and took me a walk. It was crazy because I was getting ready to, you know, y'all, let me go ahead and say something to y'all's kids, to y'all little kids, first of all. To the youth, I'm going to say that. I don't like calling y'all little kids, even though some of y'all acting real kiddish. But there's a difference when it comes to mindsets, when it comes to bodies, between youth and adults. There is a difference. All right. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how quick you think you are. I don't care how powerful you think you are. There is a difference. All right. Saying all that to say, you know, like these kids, these youth, you're gonna come across the right one. All right. That is not gonna tolerate y'all's being disrespectful. Might beat you up, might beat your dad up. This girl, it might beat your mom up. Chill out, just so everybody won't have to get beat up. And then, you know, everybody don't like getting beat up, so they start bringing in these boom boom booms, intimate. But I'm saying all that to say, stop testing these teachers. Y'all mac them out there. That's all I said. But 2013, I was teaching a project voice class. We have chess. It's registered now as a LLC. All right. We have our MACM curriculum. At that time, we have our MACM curriculum. So we had trademarked. I had trademarked MACM in 2013. That's when I had trademarked MACM. Was in 2013. But we had our LLC. All right. I was teaching a project voice class at Manual at the time in 2013. And I remember the school going on lockdown. You know, they make the announcement over the rooms. I know the procedure when it goes lockdown. You know what I mean? I read the little pamphlet. You know, I did my thing. Boom. I went over, closed the door, cut the lights off, told everybody to get away from the windows. You know what I mean? Boom. All right. So I did shut the fuck up. You know, I did my thing. You know what I mean? I did my thing when it comes to lockdown. So we was on lockdown. This is, I mean, mind you, this is the longest I've been on a lockdown. All right. And also, mind you, I'm on the 3rd floor. So the students they doing what they supposed to do. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I go over there and I look through the window. I'm seeing all kind of police out there. I'm seeing all kind of activity out there. You know what I mean? I'm like, dang, that's crazy. I wonder what's going on out there. Intimate. At that time, my man, sir, he ain't in the class teaching with me. He's supposed to be in the class teaching with me. So the lockdown lasts for about an hour. I'm gonna say that before they let us off of lockdown completely. The next class is going by. Everybody, all the students, Phil, you hear what happened to DQ? DQ just got hit. I'm like, DQ just got hit? What you mean DQ just got hit? You know, that's in the back. I'm like, what do you mean DQ just got hit? Because I know, Sir and DQ were always together. They were two peas in a pot. You know what I mean? You couldn't find one without the other. Always together. So I'm like, DQ, what you mean? So mind you too, I'm probably say a month prior to this. I'm gonna say probably a month prior to this. My man Sir came over to my house. It was snowing. You know what I mean? It was snowing and shit outside. He come knock on my door. I'm like, who is this? Could be at this time. He ain't calling nothing. I open the door. He's like, yo, bro, what's up? I ain't got no place to stay. I'm like, say less. Come on. And DQ was, I ain't know DQ at the time, but DQ was right behind him. I'm like, I was a little, I thought it was just you kind of attitude in my head. You know what I mean? I ain't know if you was bringing your homie, but I ain't know that was his cousin. I ain't know that their relationship was as thick as it was at that time. So I ain't paying no mind. You know what I mean? So Sir come in, I'm already chilling and rapping with my man Cash. Cash, he's one of my older heads that, you know what I mean? The nigga sharp as a tack. I mean, anytime I need some jewels, anytime I need to just get sharpened, my man Cash, he's the one to do it. You know what I mean? I've never been able to match wits with my man Cash. I've always felt like I've never been able to teach him something, that he didn't get anything of value from me. But everything, I'm always getting something of value from him. That's how I felt. All right. So we was just down there politicking, you know what I mean? Like a politician when they come in, and we just chilling. We all just posting and chilling. And then I'm seeing DQ. He starts politicking with my man Cash. I'm watching the whole thing. DQ, he like 17 at the time. You know what I mean? Matching wits, going back for back. The nigga brilliant. DQ, he was a history buff. I ain't know this. Sir, he's a mathematician. I knew that. I ain't know DQ was a history buff. I ain't know that you can throw any date to him and he can think for a minute and tell you something relevant that happened during that time. You know what I mean? Also, he trade dudes gangster crib. What y'all do? Is that it? I forget. I don't know what he trade dudes gangster crib. Sir trade dudes gangster crib. You know what I mean? So, when they tell me, I mean, it was mind-blowing just to see somebody match wits for wits, and then just to see somebody so young match wits for wits with my man Cash. I was blown away, to tell you the truth. All right. So I was teaching my class at Manual, everybody telling me DQ got hit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what you mean DQ got hit? What you mean DQ got hit? So I'm done. I can't teach no more. I'm thinking about DQ. I'm thinking about Sir. All right. I'm trying to call Sir. Sir, he's not hitting. Sir, he's not answering. You know what I mean? So I'm still trying to hit him. And I eventually get to him. I say, what's up? You can hear it in his voice. You can hear it in his tone. You know what I mean? Just he fucked up. He told me where he was at. And I had pulled up on him. You know what I mean? Our thing is, we've never declined the game of chess. Whenever, wherever. It don't matter what's going on, what's popping. If we say, come on, bro, let's get some chess in shit. What's up? Let's get it. You know what I mean? That was the energy with both of us all the time. I pulled up on him. I'm like, I got my chessboard. What's up? Let's get some chess in. Right there. Right then. I should have knew how badly, how damaging that shit was. When he said, nah, I can't even do it right now. I should have knew how bad it was. You know what I mean? So then that's when I had, with us teaching the MACM lessons, all we had was the curriculum. All I had was the curriculum. I had the program, I had the passion, I had the chess lessons. All that shit was in my head. All right. When DQ had got hit, you know what I mean? Um, that our trajectory together, our trajectory was like this. And when DQ got hit, it was still like trying to go up, but it was only going down. You know, our model, our two facilitator model. You know, my nigga sir, he was in a position where he's still trying to bounce back from. I'm gonna say that. He's still trying to bounce back from. Imagine a person who you was waking up to, and the first person who you got a phone a phone call or a text from dying. Imagine how that can change your life. You know, your whole routine is not the same anymore. You intimate? And I didn't realize how damaging that shit was. You know what I mean? Um, we're gonna say 2014. We're gonna say 2014 slash 2015. At this point, I realized I need help. I need help. I need support. So my thing is I was so focused on the program, on the classroom, I didn't like to, you know, still to this day, I don't like working with adults. All right. Just because I know, you know, niggas got they egos, underlying agendas, all the other stuff that gets in the way of the mission. You know what I mean? And I'm always will be mission oriented first. Um, so I knew I needed help. So I had recruited a team. All right. I had recruited a team. Um, very, 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 very dope team, I believe I had. You know what I mean? Believe I had a very dope team. Um, the thing is, you know, it was my passion. It was my passion. So with me and the energy and everything with what was going on at that time, um, to put it blatantly, um, it was too many chiefs. It's too many bosses. You know what I mean? To the point where um I'm working on my delegation. And when I'm delegating tasks to folks, and if those tasks are not getting done, then I will do it. I will take it upon myself to do it. I'm not gonna go and ask the people again, like, we need this done. Can you do this? I know the urgency behind stuff. So I would do it. I would do what they were supposed to do, what they were called to do, what they had was like, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna do it for you. You know what I mean? Type of energy. And when I did that, they felt like I was stepping on their toes, and I wasn't letting them be who they are supposed to be in their description and in their job realm and in their lane. Me, I didn't want to go back and forth, you know, with saying, you know, delegating tasks when tasks supposed to get done, stuff like that. So, you know, the whole team of bosses, it was not the move. That's supposed to be an arrow pointing down because it was not a good move. All right. Had a whole team of bosses, and it came down to, um, you know, the sad part is I'm trying to cut some relationships had, you know, I was called, what was I called? Uh, I can't remember what I was called. Um, but you know, it happened to the point where, you know, relationships were okay. I don't need that type of energy in my life. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and keep it moving this way, especially when I'm never perfect. I'm not the one to ever pretend or try to be perfect, but I do try to make my chess moves all the days, and I do try to live good. I do try to do and be good. All right, and that's my key thing. So when folks start attacking me personally from some business shit, that's cool. You keep that energy. I know who Phillip is. I know what I ain't. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna move this way while you move that way. And it's crazy to see what happened to folks. You know what I mean? It's crazy to see like how folks' lives start going down to shit once it seems like they come at me type of shit. You know what I mean? But we fast forwarding too. You know what I mean? We might not need to delete. Yeah, we're gonna delete. Yeah, we're gonna delete still. 2015. Oh man. So even coming back, so I'm gonna say 2010, we were getting our feet wet, and I was passing out freebies with my man Sir. Here we was activated. I'm gonna say in 2011 to 2012. I'm gonna say we maybe work with 2011 Cole DSST. Open. I'm gonna say we work with 8 schools, and in 2012 we had our 8 schools plus 2 more, so 10 schools total. All right. So now we're going into 2013, 2014, 15. Man, that was a wild summer. That was a wild year. We did our thing this year. All right. I'm going to just say that. We did our thing this year. All right. And what that looked like was we were in a total of 16 schools, libraries, rec centers, and other organizations that year. So I'm gonna also say throughout this time frame from 2010 to 2015, I'm gonna say to 2000, we'll say 2017 actually. We'll say to 2017, and we actually got to boost this up. So let me see. Man, we was doing our thing. I'm gonna have to write this down, but it was 20 plus. It was 20 plus. All right. And we was getting paid from majority of them now too. So even to come back, in 2010 and 2011, I had to go out to get a hold of people to see if we can get MACM into the schools, to get MACM into the recreation centers, to get MACM into the libraries and so forth. I had to be out there like that. You know what I mean? I had to show them what we were doing was working. We created our own assessment just so that we can measure what we're doing is also working. I have my chess data. We have our chess data. But we needed to prove that what MACM is doing was also working. We did that. We proved that, and we had a professor from the University of Colorado of Denver, evaluate our data and write a summary from what he had came up with from our data. So our shit is credible. Our shit is credible. We ain't just saying like what we're doing with MACM works. I'm not saying that shit anymore. I don't, at this point right now, like at 2017, I don't have to go out and call schools. I wasn't going out and calling schools anymore. I wasn't going out and emailing them anymore. at this point, for me doing all this free shit, me doing all that free shit, I quit. And and the beginning of this year, 2013, I quit Project Voice and I quit MACM. And I quit MACM. And I think DQ was hitting 12 because I quit in 13. Yep. No savings or nothing. Just, man, we got to do something about this shit. I quit all that shit in 2013 and was just doing MACM 110%. And I was also working back jobs and overnight jobs just so I can do what I was doing with MACM during the day. I mean, my overnight job, I was working from 7:30 p.m. until 5:30 p.m. until 3:30 in the morning. Just so I can do my MACM thing. Just so I can MACM. Or was it 7:30? One of the two. But I just know that it was an overnight. You know what I mean? And I would get up, take my kids to school in the morning, about 6. Then I go teach my MACM classes, come back home, get about 2-3 hours worth of rest, then get back out there to it. It was crazy, but I did that just so we can do MACM, just so I can do MACM. Yeah, that was a extremely busy. I was burnt the fuck out. I was burnt the fuck out then. I wanted to quit so many times throughout this process. Quitting was in front of my head every day, like, nigga, why are you still doing this? They ain't paying you nothing. What is going on? Why is you still doing this? They ain't paying you nothing. Nigga, get out of there. You know, quitting was always seemed like the right thing to do, especially when you hearing it from the home. You know what I mean? When at the end of the day, that's where all the support that you needed was coming from. You know what I mean? That's when the house that, you know, everything that you wanted to build was for that household. But when finances aren't what you, when finances and money issues isn't what it should be and what it could be, you know, that brings other strains and stuff, you know. So 2017 we applied for our 501c3. During this whole process, chest up here was the Providence Center. That was cross purpose before they changed it to cross purpose. And then in 2015, 15, we were, the Impact Empowerment Group was our fiscal sponsor, and they were supposed to help us get our 501c3. That's another story. That's a whole nother story, a whole nother process. You know what I mean? And then it came down to, you know what I mean? Us moving on and getting our own. I remember us having a retreat. It was the team of bosses that I told y'all about. We had a retreat over at my man Brian's house. Was there for 2 days, all day. We ate over there. I shed over there. You know what I mean? Everything was over there. Where they got everything that was in my head out. They drilled me with questions. They threw sticky notes in my face. I threw them back in their face. You know, they got everything that they needed to get to come up with a business proposal out of my head and into a business proposal format. And that proposal was an 11-page, dope ass, man. Let me see. I could show y'all real fast. You know what I mean? If you think I'm playing about them games, I could show you real fast. You know, just to let you know what it is. All right. So just to let you know how real it is. All right. Where is it at? don't think that's it. No. I'll show y'all another time, but you know what I mean? That's neither here or now. But they ended up getting all that shit out of my head. We applied for our 501 in 2007, the end of 2007, 17. We got it early 2018. From there, that's when we had took the fuck off. You know what I mean? Not to say that everything that we wasn't doing didn't build up to it, because I believe that if we didn't get our 501c3, we would have still took the fuck off. But it just everything, it was timing. It was, you know, my data was speaking for itself. It was the work that we're doing, you know, the investments that we're putting back in. To date, we've invested over $1 million back into the community. We've invested over $1 million back into the community to date. All right. Invested from 2017, not including back this time. All right. I mean, and this time right here, I'm going to say we probably made about 50,000. All right. During this whole time, 2015 up until 2015, 2017, we probably made about 50,000. And I'm being modest. I'm being extremely modest. All right. We got a team now. We have a team now. We get support from the community. We get support from nonprofits. The Colorado Health Foundation is a big supporter of what we do. Caring for Denver is a big supporter of what we do. The Denver Foundation is a big supporter of what we do. Caring for Colorado, or I think it's they're another big supporter of what we do. You know what I mean? I'm just saying those are just 4 foundations, large foundations that support the work that we do now. And mind you, when I say invest, when I say we invest the money back into the community, businesses that are ran by Black and brown folks, youth who go to school in this community, I mean, if you come and run and work a workshop for us, host a workshop for us, if you come and work with us, I don't believe in doing anything for free. I've done the free shit and I won't put that on nobody, because there's no true value in valuing the person that you're asking to do free shit for them. And if you truly want to show that you value the person, pay the person for their time and pay them for the true value of their time. Don't pay them little peanuts. Don't pay them crumbs when you got the whole loaf. You know what I mean? And that's a problem too with, you know, a lot of these other organizations. You know what I mean? They're investing money in themselves and their homies, and nothing is getting changed in the community except for they asking for more money, except for they asking for more support. They asking for more of this instead of them putting the money where it needs to go, back into the community. I just want to point something out real fast at the end of this. Have anybody heard or seen of any shootings or killings recently on the east side? I know usually we hear of them. It's always something somewhere. Have y'all heard of any recent shootings or killings or anything that's going down on the east side? recently. I haven't. Not to say that MACM is the only one out here that got an impact on that, but I do believe that the work that we're doing and who we're impacting and who we're doing it with is a contribute, is a factor to that. When you bring in a whole family, when you work with a whole family whose family dynamics is encompassed with the gang banging culture, where everybody quoted, everybody gang banging. We bring in a whole family. We're working with them. We're paying them. We're valuing their time. We're letting them lead projects that they're designing and coming up with. We're getting ready to drop a MACM album. We getting ready to drop a MACM album. They out here rapping and telling their stories. They sharing their stories. We getting ready to drop an album. You know, I ain't on one track. I might get on one track. You know what I mean? Say something like MACM. You know, but they out here. They leading these projects. They out here trying to get their GEDs and shit. They out here setting smart goals and accomplishing them. We had to teach them what a smart goal was first. It took about a week, but it got done. It got accomplished, and they knocking these goals off and marking them off. We build intentional relationships. We build relationships with purpose. I don't know what's happening out there in Aurora and Montbello, but I suggest relationships start being built more with purpose. Stop hiring y'all's homies. Hire these babies, train these babies out here. If you're going to hire your homies, make sure that y'all getting shit done and getting shit accomplished and making an impact. Because y'all hiring y'all's homies and ain't nothing happening. There's still shootings and everything out there crazy too. I'm just saying, pointing out the obvious. So you can say shots fired. You can call it what it is. I call a spade a spade. If I know that my homies, I don't have my homies in here with me. I ain't got none of my homies in here with me. Because I know my homies don't get down with the work that I do. I'm not going to force them into a lane just because we got the little bit of money. I'm not going to force them to do something that they don't know what the fuck that they're going to be doing. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all. That's the MACM story, man. Last year, so 2019, our budget was like 200 and something thousand. I ain't think my board was gonna go for it. They approved that shit. I was like, damn, really? Y'all gonna approve that? 200? Oh, wait, where we gonna get that money from? Oh, wait, I don't know how we gonna get that. We ended up getting I think we hit that mark. I don't know if I think we hit beneath it. I don't think we hit the 200 or something. You know what I mean? I don't think we had hit that. 2020, our budget was that was last year. No. Yeah, 2020 was the 200 something. And then last year, this 2021 budget was and all of this is going to be public information. I'm not telling y'all nothing that y'all will not know. All right. Our 2021 budget, and I knew that the board wasn't going to go for it, was 460,000. All right. They went for it. They went for it. I was like, oh shit, y'all went for that too? Holy shit, where are we gonna get this money? I'm panicking now. Mind you, the first 6-7 years of doing this work, doing this MACM work, we made probably about 50,000. I promise you, I'm being modest too. made about maybe 50,000. I mean, I'm gonna say 75 just to give myself a little wiggle room when it comes to my hustle. So going from 50,000, 75,000 for the first 7 years, 6, 7 years, to submitting a budget to your board. We got a board. Like, we had to put all this shit together. I got my bylaws, I got my budget, I got my business proposals, I got some grants that I can use. I copy and paste some shits, you know what I mean? I got everything that I need. My strategic plans. We're coming up with more. We're getting ready to do our strategic plan for 2022. Intimate. And beyond. But I'm saying that to say, for us to grow from where we were to me not even having to teach a class right now, I realized that in order for me to grow, I have to step out of what I love. Even though I love working with the youth and I love being in a classroom and that's where I'm meant to be, I know in order for MACM to grow, I have to step out of that envelope. I have to step out of that lane. I have to get out of my own way. I have to be uncomfortable so I can grow. I know that me having somebody else be the executive director of a nonprofit that I started, they're not going to put the same amount of energy that I would put into it. No shade. So, if y'all out here gritting, trying to get y'all's nonprofit going, don't quit. Don't give up. Align yourself with folks who's in the same alignment as you. If that alignment is filled with shit, wasting time and bullshit, keep it that away. We don't mix. You intimate? But if that alignment is filled with doing the right thing, being intentional with your time, not wasting time, being good, yeah, let's make some moves. I would love to work with you. Intimate? I had one of my youth tell me yesterday I had ran into him. I've been trying to get back in with him, you know what I mean? Get back in with him, you know what I mean? I had asked him, I said, man, we got the bread now, because he was volunteering and shit earlier when we were struggling. I'm like, we got the bread now. Come on, what's up? Send me your resume, fill out this application for me, and send me a cover letter. He said, all right, bet. I ain't hear from him. So when I just saw him yesterday, I'm like, man, what's going on? He said, man, bro, to tell you the truth, I don't even know how to fill out a resume. I ain't even got one, and I felt embarrassed to say that shit. And I'm like, nigga, that's it. Nigga, don't let that stop us. Intimate. I mean, and there was a 2-month gap probably between the time I had asked him to come on to MACM to the time I had saw him yesterday to him saying, man, I ain't feel comfortable, you know what I mean, as a grown man saying I don't have a resume, you know what I mean? And that, it spoke another language, spoke something else, you intimate. But yeah, we tapped in though. We tapped in. I don't have to be in the classrooms. I don't have to, and not that I don't want to, because if you know me, that's what I want to do. If you know me, you know that I hate being in these meetings with, on the computers. Yeah, I mean, like I fall asleep in these meetings on camera. No shame. I'll be in that bitch like, hey, they see me start nodding and shit. No shame at all, too. But I knew in order to do that, we had to grow it. But in order to grow it, we have to grow it with the right people. In order to grow it with the right people, I've brought in youth who went through the MACM program when I was teaching it. All the youth who are in here with MACM had came through MACM in some way, some form. whether they've been through it during the school, they took a class, they came and worked with us during the summer, they came and took a workshop over the virtual joint. We got 2 workshops coming up, are all inclusive for the high school students. That's next week. And then we have the women's empowerment. You know what I mean? That's the 27th through the 30th, I believe. You know what I mean? So that's so, and even to the point, your siblings had went through MACM and they're talking to you about MACM. Hence, now you're in the program. So they've grown. I'm saying they've grown through the program. From one of the students Elijah, I met Elijah when he was 12. The young and 24 now. Intimate 23? Nah, he's 24. Long story short, even when he came through the MACM program when he was in high school, stayed tapped in through college, graduated college, came back and gave back. And now he's leading our programs in MACM. I'm thinking succession plans. I'm thinking I'm not the one that's going to be here forever. I'm not the one that I don't need to be in front of the youth. There's a disconnect. They get more from them, from their peers. We got to get that. We got to understand that. We got to understand that, and we ain't getting it, and we ain't understanding it. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. You know what I mean? That's all I got. Yeah, now we here. Our budget for next year, double that of last year. Woo-wee. I promise you, God is good. I promise you. Intimate all day.